Hello, everyone, and welcome to this video about this month's album, Human Design, Astrology, and some of the abilities that each of us have. And I want to focus specifically today on channeling these albums for the last 9 years. So, man, November this year will be 9 years that I've been doing these albums every single month. And so Anton and I have been just reflecting on my human design. Recently, Fallon and I have had different readings with Anton as a single, person, and then also as a joint reading with our charts. And I just find it very beneficial. And I think Anton has a wealth of knowledge around these subjects of astrology and human design. But what makes Anton really different, in my opinion, for this work is his intuitive nature and how he's able to connect and explain in layman's terms, I think, for the average Joe that is not up to snuff or par or whatever the vocabulary term is for, having all of that knowledge and being able to utilize it in such a powerful way. So we're going to make this short and sweet, but basically, I was asking Anton, I feel so deeply emotions of, when people are taken advantage of. And like when you're looking at the world stage of things that are going on in the world, I just get so upset about things that have really nothing to do with me, just because I don't like seeing people taken advantage of or people knowing that they're doing wrong and they do it anyways, and it's something that, Anton and I were reflecting on this the other day, but just the anger, that kind of boils up. And, I think some of us are here to be Zen and some of us are here to play different positions, but, there's two sides of each coin. And so there's a blessing and there's a curse for each of these things that come up for us. And for me, I have always found it very interesting that I am very intuitive. I'm very tapped into other people's emotions and to their thoughts and feelings. And so I was asking Anton to kind of reflect on that for you guys today shortly, about why that is and how this can be such a tool of justification and empowerment, and helping with our just encouragement and gathering the courage to step into these roles with more confidence. And so I'm hoping that you guys will check out Anton and all of his work after this video. We're going to provide a link where you can reach out to him through email and ask questions about your chart, get a reading, dive deeper into the work, resources, all of that. So I want to turn this over to Anton and let him talk a little bit about my chart. So, opening that up and then just kind of showcasing what his thoughts are on, how my chart plays into the work that I do.
Absolutely, man. So let's pull your chart up. All right. So is this big enough or do you want this? This is too small.
Yeah, it's probably.
How about that?
Yeah, that's better.
That's big.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Let's make sure everything is good. All right. Cool. All right. So we're taking a look right now at your human design chart. And the first thing that jumps out to me is when you're talking about feeling like you can pick up other people's thoughts and feelings. The first thing I'd see is that you have a completely open crown chakra, otherwise known as head center, which means that you're completely open and you're always taking in other people's inspirations, their interests, the things that they are thinking about, the things that they feel pressured to understand. And also that means that you also have a undefined ajna, which means that you're also very receptive to the way that people think, not just what they're thinking about and what they feel called to figure out, but also literally the way they think, the concepts that they're fiddling with in their mind. Like one thing, because I am the opposite of you, I have these centers defined. It means that when I'm going through my life, I always have the same mental overlay. You could say almost like a video game, how there's the UI, the overlay. So for me, I always have my own. So I'm always going through life, analyzing life from my own perspective. And I'm thinking about the things that I am interested in thinking about and figuring out. Where you, on the other hand, you're incredibly receptive and sensitive to other people and their thoughts. And so the big thing that you're here to learn is to figure out what actually interests you. Because when you're around anybody, you're going to be thinking about what they're thinking about. And so your responsibility, the wisdom that you're learning is, do I want to think about that? And if not, then it's literally just tuning their thoughts out. And that's the thing, when you have an open or undefined crown and ajna, you have the ability to just tune people out.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. And then also when I hear you talk about how you feel other people's feelings, that's because down here you have a completely open crown, head center, and you have a completely open emotional solar plexus center. So you are literally picking up every kind of emotional expression a human being can have. So no matter who you're with, your emotions can be fluctuating constantly. You're in one room with one person and you're feeling what they're feeling. Then you leave that room and you go hang out with someone else and you're feeling what they're feeling. And then let's say you're at a party or a larger get together and now you're feeling what everybody's feeling, and you have the ability to tune into different people's current emotional expressions, which when you're young, that can be disorienting. Very disorienting. But again, it forces you to develop a great deal of wisdom of discerning, how do I actually want to feel right now? Do I want to feel this person's, maybe they're feeling really warm and passionate right now, and that could be a beautiful thing. But then maybe someone's really feeling down, sad, melancholic. So again, your wisdom that you're learning in this lifetime is figuring out, having the authority over yourself, the sovereignty to go, how do I want to feel right now? And then the easiest way to do that is just be by yourself. And then when you're by yourself, you just allow yourself to let go of everybody else's emotions around you. And so that is what I would look at when you're talking about taking in other people's thoughts and feelings. Now, that has nothing to do with the music you create, but it does give you another lens at looking at how the music might impact people. Also, because you're very susceptible to other people's emotional states, you're very aware of the kinds of feelings people are feeling. And when you do channel this music in, you might be able to, almost after the fact, subtly tweak it to better reflect what you've been picking up in your environment, in the collective. And what I'd be looking at in terms of the actual music that you're channeling and how that is occurring, what I would immediately look at is you have this gate 14 in your sacral, which pretty much means this is somebody like yourself who is driven to work towards their purpose, their individual purpose, why they're here on the planet, why they've incarnated in this lifetime. That's all about gate 14, is having the ability, the enthusiasm, the drive to work towards your unique destiny. And also you have gate 2, which is how I usually look at this is the seat of the soul. This is your connection with your higher self, inner self, soul, whatever word you want to use for it. So again, how I would look at this relationship is if gate 14 is the ability to work towards your purpose, your destiny, that is not what is required, is to know in what direction your purpose and your destiny is. If you're not connected with where you're supposed to be heading in life, you can be working towards the wrong thing. You can be disoriented, not knowing what you're actually supposed to work at. Because again, gate 14 is the ability to work and the ability to enjoy fulfilling work, but it doesn't actually say what you're supposed to be working towards. So again, you have both of these. So you have this internal guidance system with Gate 2, which directs you with pinpoint accuracy what and where you're supposed to be working towards. Right.
Yeah.
And you've shared this with me where you've shared with me that you sometimes have a hard time comprehending how somebody doesn't know where they're supposed to go or where they're supposed to orient themselves or in what
Yeah.
direction they're supposed to work. That could be
Yeah.
difficult for you because, again, for you, it's just so second nature where you always know where you're heading.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we all feel lost sometimes,
Hmm.
but there's just this feeling in you of you more or less know the direction, within a certain, to use another example, a certain degrees of
Right.
accuracy, but you know where you're going. And again, this is where, when you think about you, when I think about you, I think of someone who's making a monthly album, someone who's working diligently every single day of the month without any wasted time or space. Like, you've literally committed to your audience, your community, that I'm going to work and complete an album every single month. That's challenging. Most artists, a lot of the artists that I follow, make an album every year, every 2 years, sometimes every 3 years or 4 years. But
Yeah.
again, you have this drive, this system in you that like once you figure out and lock into what you want to do, you just drive towards it incessantly. And that's an incredible gift, especially with what you're doing. Now, when it comes to the actual music itself and the creation and the creativity of manifesting this music in the world, that's Gate 1. And that's all about creativity. That's the divine masculine. That's about bringing something into the world, penetrating the world with your unique creativity. And Gate 2 is the divine feminine. It's the divine receptive. So again, really, I think when I look at you and I think of why you are so creative and able to just, again, work like a workhorse towards this monthly creative expression. And now you're getting into creating podcasts, you're creating visual art, you're creating poetry. It's like you're a very multi-disciplined creative. And that's, again, I would put that towards all these three gates, is the ability to work diligently and consistently towards something you love, knowing what you're actually, where you should be putting that energy, and then having the work that you create be very creative. Again,
Yeah.
something that transforms the world, because what you're doing is not only are you working towards your destiny and your path in life, but you're doing so and expressing it in just a creative way. When people look at your music, when they listen to your music, it's very unique. And I remember when I first met you, the first thing I said is, I've never really heard music like this. It's very otherworldly. There is a unique cosmic flair to it. And again, that's your Gate 1, your ability to create stuff, but also do it and express it in a creative way itself.
Yeah.
And so, again, when I think of you and your creativity, that's what I'm looking at. The 14, the 2, and the 1. So how does that land for you?
Yeah, that's great. And so, guys, the reason I wanted Anton to, bring this into focus for you and show the chart is, some of you might not have any experience. Some of you might have heard and know a little bit about it. But for Fallon and I, for our relationship, for our business ventures, for just heart, just the sense of knowing, this has been amazing. And I think, like, people who are struggling with direction, this could be a great tool to get started. People that are wondering why they're stuck or why they're frustrated in certain ways, this could be a great tool to kind of pinpoint those target focuses. And maybe what I think is neat is, I've had some readings with human design, chart readers, and it wasn't as thorough as what I got with Anton. And the other thing is that the way that he's able to translate it for you, I think, is very different. And so I just wanted to showcase this so you guys could see kind of a little bit into my chart and see why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then also encourage you guys to reach out to Anton. He's such a cool dude. And, Anton's going to be on our podcast, hosting some really awesome podcasts here in the near future. And He's, part of our community with the Frequency Minded magazine, doing some of his reaction videos. And so just wanted to introduce Anton, wanted to introduce this idea of this new tool and show you the kind of help it has been to me in doing these monthly albums. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I hope you enjoy the album this month.
Beautiful. Take care, everyone. And thanks, Ian.